of the biggest parts of my life that I want to grow. So let's talk about this one a little bit more here.
Okay. Yeah.
I definitely would like to make some commitments, some accountability commitments there. The
Yeah.
New Year talk. We got to have our
Yeah. I like it.
New Year accountability talk.
I like that idea. Just, it's a lot of, things sort of slide from last year, and uh, I think it's a good time to like redouble efforts on old stuff. I don't know. It's just good time and energy to just put that energy forward, like you were saying, to start everything on the right foot, gets
Yeah,
it going on the right foot.
and it's good to make yourself accountable uh, to other people that you really care about, that you love,
Mhm.
and it's good to vocalize, what you're thinking.
Right. Helps create it, helps hold you accountable.
Yes, and it brings what's in your mind like into like physical reality. It makes it a sound. So you're actually speaking to yourself, and you're bound by your thoughts and your words.
Mhm. Word sound power. Yeah. Mhm.
Yes, so it's a good time to start the day, to start the week, to start the year, thinking and speaking with someone that you love. That's what accountability is. It's like two or more come together, and you have a common goal. Like, we want to be better,
Yeah.
we want to be more.
They, they say that you're 67% more likely to fulfill your goals if you have an accountability partner,
That's what a coach is. That's what a good coach is. That's what a good husband is.
right? Yeah. Good father.
A good father, a good friend,
Yeah. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
good lover,
And right. To show up and to be held accountable.
a
A
good
good business person. Yeah. A good leader. Yeah. Exactly. And to lead ourselves so we can lead our families, so we can lead our businesses, so we can lead our communities, so we can lead our world. Yeah. And
this is what has to happen. We have to align ourselves. We have to
totally.
take our thoughts, our words, our actions, and put them in alignment. And then it starts to feed itself. It starts to nourish itself from within itself, right? This is how it goes.
Totally. Totally. Totally.
So it's self propelling, self generating.
Self
By you
nurturing.
by you loving yourself, you're filling your cup with love, so you can give to your lovers, so you
Mhm.
can give to your family, so you can give to your clients, your customers, your community, your extended family, the rest of this world, and have something to give back to the world. And it's to have that kind of bigger vision.
Mhm. Mhm. Oh yeah. And to be, to realize that we can be more, we can be that fullness of ourselves, and in that there's that fulfillment. You know, that the hard is actually, meeting that which is difficult and that we're resistant to is where we grow, and then that actually makes it more easy in terms of our live stream and our happiness. You know, um, it's like pumping weight, right? The more times you hit that resistance, the more you can build. So I love that, like you were saying, that it feeds itself, the cup that runneth over, sort of. You fill your own cup, and then it can pour forth. If you're always taking out of your cup and everyone else is too, then you don't have it to give, right? And so you got to run it that way in order to, fulfill our needs to our community. And that whole idea of pronoia, or kind of the breatharian path of like, um, your happiness is what the universe wants you to do, and that is in best interest of everyone. You know, so, um, kind of like, do you? one of our teachers says, you can never get it wrong and you never get it done. You know, we're just going forward, you know, failing forward, or not failing forward, but, you know, allowing ourselves that room, you know, to be like, oh, okay, that wasn't what I wanted. And then, yeah, make like we do at the end of the year, now new year. Okay, that year, like there's things I could have done better. There's things I'd like to do better, you know? So yeah. And then for myself, you know, and then not for anyone else, but then once I have done it for myself, then it's like the obstacle is the path, right? You've gone through the hard things, you know, in life, or your obstacles, and you can lead another through it because you've been there, kind of a thing, you know?
And kind of our obstacles, our resistance is kind of our weak spot usually too.
Right.
If you can kind of strengthen your weaknesses, it kind of makes you better.
Right.
So if you can work on your dark spot, if you can work on that part of you that's a little bit uncomfortable, if you can find some comfort in that part of yourself, then everything else seems a little easier. Like, I mean, even the worst part of my day, my life, if that part I can manage, if I can cope, if I can find a way to kind of find peace there,
Mm-hmm.
then everything else seems kind of a little bit easier.
Absolutely. I always like the idea of, you know, how the neurons fire together, wire together. And so the more we practice feeling at peace and happiness and in joy and in love, then the easier it is for our biology, our consciousness to go there, you know. And the more we practice frustration and consternation and, like, you know, wanting and everything, the more we experience that state.
The
Even if we,
separation, not having it.
right, even if we're achieving those things, then
Working
it's
towards them.
you start to not appreciate them because you're already in that cycle of a mentality of frustration and consternation.
It's always to just shift the perspective. It's
Oh,
always to just rejig what I'm saying to myself right now. Like, am I saying, oh, I hate this, or why is this happening to me? If that's what's my talk, what I'm saying to myself, then I'm going to feel frustrated and angry. And if I'm saying to myself, you know, like, you know, how do I love this? How can I love this? Or how can I love you? Or what do I need to learn? Or how can I grow? It's in asking myself the right question that my brain starts, you know, fulfilling the answer for myself. You start looking for the right answer. Like, how to love this is better than, why is this always happening to me? Why is this always poor me? You know, it's like I'm a victim versus I'm in charge of asking how to do something. It's like I'm directing the way I go as a victim or as taking charge of the circumstance in a loving way.
mm-hmm. Owning your creation, yeah. That being responsible for all of your creation gives you all of the power to change it. So all the way you feel about it, the things that are showing up in your life, you know, the way you're responding, you know, or your achievements or lack thereof, right? It's all a matter of the mind, you know, and this calling forth and then allowing, you know, but, you know, rising to, you know, meet the challenges when they present themselves. Because that's what I've found is usually, you know, you call for something and then it comes in and you're like, you know, you get a little resist. And that's the time when you really got to bring it up and be like, okay, no, we wanted this, let's do this.
You get
You know?
submerged in it now. Now you're in it. Now you've got to kind of deal with it. So it's scary. Now it's here and it's scary. And now you get like, but this is what we wanted. So we have to now learn how to love this. So it's like, how to love this, how to get into harmony with this, how to balance with this, how to grow here. How do I need to grow? What do I need to learn? What do I need to change? What do I need to let go of? How can I grow? How can I learn? It's the right questions, the
I
right.
love, yeah, I love that concentration of, you know, loving your life, you know, love, live the life you love and love the life you live. And then it just, yeah, that thing where it just circulates and nurtures itself and spreads and grows. And that, you know, I really love this idea from the Taoists of just life cultivation. There's like a path of healing that it's been really great for me, you know, just in, on the one hand, trying to heal myself, and then having some success there, being able to have more of myself to be able to bring to my family and my community and land. And you get into this mode of like, you just, everyone you meet, you're like, it's really fun. It's like, how I just get excited about, like, how can I serve you? Like, how can I help you today, brother John? Is there any way I can like uplift your vibe and give you some love, you know? And like, you know, or a little plant or a dog, you know, it's just like, someone, you know, comes to you at the grocery store and you let them go by first and they smile at you, you know. And there's just little ways in which we can enrich our lives by being, you know, having more of that sense of like loving kindness and gratitude and just putting forth like a upful vibe, you know. So I love that idea of constant that you put forth of like, let's concentrate on loving it. Like, how can you put more love into this, any situation, and particularly the hard one?
In particular the hard ones, yeah. And I think you also have to even take the time every single day to really center yourself in that sort of goal. You got to get up in the morning and say, like, I want to love me. I
Mhm.
want to love my life. I want to love myself. I want to love my wife. I want to love my children. I want to love my clients. You want to kind of have that sort of mental space that you're thinking about that. You want to come to that sort of thought process. And then I think you also want to, so you want to think it and say it, but then I think you want to try to imagine it,
Mhm.
like grow it inside of your mind. I think imagination is where we grow things inside of ourselves.
Absolutely. Anything we can imagine, we can create into being. And that's so when we're imagining worst case scenarios, you know, which is the mind's predilection. Like if something happens, the mind tends to panic and go to like the worst case scenario. And it's, you know, better to be prepared for the worst, but expect the best, you know, and to imagine the best. And then furthermore, take direct action steps. Like you're saying, like take some time, you know, like for my self-care, you know, practice, for instance, that has been really fruitful to me. Every morning I wake up and I meditate, you know, then I start with some qigong and stretching, you know, and sun gazing.
Some movement, some nature, some breath.
Yeah, I do my fasting and my, you know, nutrition practice, with, you know, as highest vibe, you know, foods, plant foods and superfoods and herbs that I can. You know, I try to remember to tell my family, you know, loving words like "I love you," "good work," you know, um, you look nice in that shirt, you know, um, and to not be stingy with our niceties and our kindnesses, to actually pour them forth as much as possible, you know.
Look for opportunities, seek opportunities. When you're in space with someone, maybe in your mind even saying, like, how could I show love here? How could I give love here? How could I demonstrate love here? How could I be more accepting here? How could I be less judgmental here? We can change the words that we're holding in our head, even from anger to how could I be less angry? How could I be accepting? Going from anger to acceptance is a step.
Yeah, the tiniest little bit more of well-being in any form, right, is the way towards that kindness, I feel.
It's a step, a little incremental step, and we have to do it incrementally in our minds to come from where we're frustrated with our life or unhappy with our life or sad with our life to where I want to be. Like, I want to be really happy with myself. I want to be high energy. I want to be high frequency. So I'm taking in high energy foods. I'm practicing high energy things. I'm moving, I'm breathing, I'm getting into the sun, I'm getting my feet on the ground, I'm doing things that lift up my energy, high vibration things, thoughts, words, actions, physical actions, mental actions. Physical and mental actions create emotional results.
Mhm. And physical results, manifestation results, your abundance, your health, your well-being, the well-being of your family, physically, psychologically, economically. If you can, you know, take care of yourself, and then you can extend that to your family, then you have actually, built something larger, in terms of self-care. It's now extending to community. And then you can, extend that out to your community beyond that. In terms of, I've actually, been through that hard place. A lot of times as humans, we want to make these quantum leaps of like, I'm feeling cruddy and frustrated and sick and poor and everything now. And I want to get up to that mountain of abundance and well-being and health and everything. And it seems like such a huge, crawl and a climb. And it really is that one step at a time, just minute little step, like any little bit of well-being. You can't just fly up the mountain, you can fly down it on a snowboard. But you can tell I've been thinking about snowboarding. But you have to walk up the mountain. It takes energy.
It takes a physical practice to get up there. You got to do physical practice to get up there. There's a physical and a mental practice is going to have to happen for you to get so high up there in emotional response, frequency, and vibration. To get up there, you're going to have to do some physical and mental practice to get up there, right? And this is the thing, is that in this world right now where there's so much negative stuff coming at us, and there's so much fearful stuff coming at us, and there's so much distraction, we have to recognize that we have the power within ourselves. We always have the choice. We can be focused on an external source of nutrition, or I can focus on an internal source of nutrition. It's always my choice. Mm-hmm. And it really comes down to that, is recognizing that we're in control.
Yes, I just had a powerful experience with this. You and I have both been experiencing and experimenting with the, pranic lifestyle, and sort of the breatharian lifestyle. And
this is where we met. It was in fasting. It was in the breatharian lifestyle. I really would like to hear your comments about this.
Yes, it's just really, to me, this is just essentially the highest healing path, because you're multiplying healing modalities on top of each other. We know there's, health, clinical health benefits to fasting. We know there's clinical health benefits to juicing. We know there's clinical health benefits to breath work. We know there's clinical health benefits to exercise, to exposure to sunlight. So you're just stacking these things on top of each other
to plant,
to grounding,
to plant medicines, to harmony, to frequency, to vibration, to energy, to nature.
Yes, and I got, we've both been working with this last month. I took upon myself, I really wanted to sort of level up my game and go to, if we're not growing, we're dying. You always got to be growing.
Gotta be growing.
Or you're going to feel that sense of you're fading. So, you're meant to grow like a tree. And so I took a 30-day dry fast on, and I meant to go 30 days nonstop, but I started, and after 2 days, I felt like I really needed to refeed. So what I ended up doing was doing 24-hour dry fasts, and then a period of refeed on liquids the next day, and then dry fast for 24, and then refeed for, like 6 or 8 the next day. So I would still have dry fast period in between. So I spent the majority of, the last 34, 35 days, maybe 17 of them or more, without any food or water. And so that really, as I've been moving into this practice in this lifestyle and understanding, it's about breaking these thought constructs that get stuck, of like, because I'd already moved to liquiditarian and I've been doing that for a number of years, but I still was like, oh, I'm just taking in all this juice and there's still lots of nutrition here. And, occasionally I would nibble a little bit with my family because it's an important part of like staying connected with them. And, it can be too emotionally hard trying to entrain this lifestyle, as in a non sort of yogic, setting. So, but it's still, that was enough to like break up a lot of the thought in my mind of like, this isn't happening. It's like, no, this actually is, my body is changing and attuning more to prana and to the electricity that it, really, our mitochondria are powered by electricity and energy and light. So there's been much more study into this now. And I noticed you just got an infrared sauna, which is super cool, because that infrared and UV just feed your mitochondria. They literally power your cells and heal your cells. And this is the new medicine. The new medicine is energy medicine, and the realization that we are electrical beings, that we are medicine ourselves, that we're self-organizing energy fields. And when we're in wholeness and balance, then we, in our heart, mind, spirit, and body, then we can be complete without a need.
And this is it. And we didn't say anything about macronutrients. We didn't talk about proteins or carbs or fats. We're only talking about the energy. This is all stuff that happens at a micronutrient level. This is stuff that happens like with plants, minerals, water, air. That's it. Like, we're talking about the energy of the energy of our universe. So like the energy of love that's within us. It sounds to the outsider as like craziness, because all we hear about is keto diet and proteins and grams, and all we talk about is the macronutrient stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we've been trained to hear, is like that's what's natural and normal. When people start talking about things that are really natural and normal, like mind, body, and soul,
mm-hmm.
that sounds like it's crazy. Like it's, oh, that guy's a quack.
If you're happy and you're healthy, then you're wealthy, right? And they did these studies on the blue zones on the planet, all the places with centurions and super centurions, places like Sardinia in Italy, where people, almost everyone in the community lives to be 90 or 100 years old or more. And the main thing is they have low protein diets. They have traditionally grown, regionally appropriate foods, plant food base, primarily plant foods, and my experience, with the breatharian thing is this harmonization of the elements of earth, wind, fire, and water that are in your body. Your bones, your physical structure is like your earth. You have electricity inside of you. There's literally a fire of electricity inside of you. Air, you breathe air, and we're 70% water. So we're more a water being than we are an earth being in many ways, and more energy being than that, because they say, 99% of our atoms are only probably there. Potentially, this is all diffuse material, and that really the whole universe is energy, and it's a hologram of our mind. So this reality is an illusion. It's not an illusion because it's not real, but because it's a projection of our consciousness. So when we can get our consciousness right, then we can create, as you were saying, in a new year, in a new day, in a new project, in a new relationship, to hold that energy in mind, and to focus more on the energy of and feeling of your relationships and your interactions, so that it's feeding you, that it's joyful, and that you want to run towards it because it feels fun.
We have to develop that, and if that's not there, then it's how to develop that. And so we have to be working at developing that. So if that's not there, that's okay. It doesn't mean you're bad. It's like, okay, so I see that, in this relationship in my life, with money, with coffee, with food, with a person, with a male, with a female, with a younger person, with an older person, with a rich person, with a black person, with a Muslim person, that these relationships of all kinds, they all need to be loving. So in some, you may find that, with a lover or with a brother, you may find that your relationship's not good. And that's where you're going to have to start thinking about how to make my relationship with this brother, this lover, different or better. How could I build this? How could I grow this? How could I nurture it? I got to ask myself those questions.
Right. We can transmute everything with loving kindness, but and that becomes another massive part for me, in this world and in this time. There seems to be I don't want to say a lack of loving kindness. There's been a lot. I see a lot in the world. I see a lot more than people would like to focus on, but I would like to see more too. I would like to grow more in myself and to see more in the world. I know that I'm going to be the place where it starts from, and so that's, one of my intentions, in this year and every year, is to focus. And part of one of my daily meditations is to focus on my heart awareness, and to center, as much of my consciousness and my acts, my relationships in this place of compassion and loving kindness, and wanting to just extend loving kindness to all beings, and oneness, because we all are one. And to put forth anger at another brother or sister, you feel that burn on your own mind. So to release all of the put forth forgiveness and loving compassion towards all those hard places that might have developed in the last year or last lifetime. So we can, in this year, this is one of my intentions I'd like to speak forth for this new year, is like, I want to do everything I can to help any and all human beings heal in any and all ways, as well as land. I just want to do everything I can to heal the planet and put forth that energy of healing, and join other people who are self-motivated leaders like yourself, to grow this community and this vibration of self-care and loving kindness.
And I think that this is just basically what happens as you start to raise in frequency and vibration. We start to come together in thought process. It's like divisional thoughts kind of drift away, and we kind of overcome them, and we see that we're kind of all one thing. Like Adam is like all of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Adam.
It's like
it's all of humanness, and humanness is it's eternal, and we're one like always functioning being, one collective being, and that's oneness, and that's recognizing that we are masculine and feminine. We're both, and that's within all of us, and we're a part of all of us. And the way that we think and speak towards our brother is just what we're thinking and speaking towards ourselves. And so self-love and self-care is the same as loving another. And so we have to learn how to love ourselves in order to love another. And this is oneness. This is all coming from the same place, coming from the same source. And I think what happens, I think, is maybe even when people see us talking and they think, well, I don't believe that, and I don't think that, and I don't feel that, and I don't want to feel that, and I don't think that that's right. They may feel like they're in resistance to what we're talking about, but I think as you rise in frequency, like you burn off the resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
like it's not like you need to say like I don't want to be like that. It's like as you grow, just talk about what you want. Just talk about growing, and as you grow, like you will be put to choose.
Yeah.
It will choose you, and you'll get to choose. Like, do I choose love here, or do I choose to stay as I am? And you'll just keep being filed more and more tightly and tightly and tightly until we kind of have a collective idea that kind of comes like as oneness. And this is how we rise back to where we started. Like the light came from the sun, and it comes to the earth, and the earth makes everything alive with it, including us. And then we grow up with the intention to look back to the sun and intend back to the sun love. And when you have this kind of loving kind of interaction with your life, you're in circle, you're in harmony, you're in a vibration that's giving you what you want. It's you're giving and getting what you want in your life. It just kind of happens from within yourself. It's a decision you've made inside of yourself that makes you autonomous, independent, a completely free being is a decision that we make inside of ourselves. A sovereign being is to let go of all of the mess that's around and determine that my energy is something that I can control, and to actually imagine yourself having that kind of power over yourself in your life. It's empowering yourself.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's what I really want to do is, pump that vibration of empowerment of all people. If you're not into what John and I are talking about, that's totally good too. Like, you never get it wrong and you never get it done. It's just a matter of what is going to be good for your well-being right now. And there's been things that have worked for us that have been really great, in terms of tools, to share with our community, and skills, that are hard won. That whole thing of the obstacle is the path. Once you go through these hard places, it gives you a place of compassion. You can be like, yeah, I was right there, and I know exactly where you are. I can tell you can get through this because I did, and that's all I, think one can really do is work on your own healing, and then emanate that vibration of wellness and good vibes. And then, if and when someone wants a hand, you're just there to give it to them, you're just willing and ready, so
I think modeling is the best thing that you can do. Like trying to tell somebody, like the words even that I use to explain what happened to me in my life may not make sense to anybody, but they make sense to me, and they make my mind be able to understand how I healed inside of myself. Like, what are the words to speak about what's going on inside? Like,
the Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao.
the real spiritual change, evolution, is speechless. It's beyond physical. It's metaphysical. It's higher in frequency. There's no words for those things.
It's too ecstatic and too awesome. You can't really, put a confine around it.
Right. So when you try to talk about it, you sound like a goofball.
Exactly. That's why a lot of the mystics were equated with crazy people.
just practice for yourself more. practice maybe a little bit, maybe less talking even, and more listening. But then, you know, sometimes, you know, we have to make yourself vulnerable, because I think it helps others to make themselves vulnerable. So it's good as brothers to share, because
Yeah.
when one shines, it inspires another. So, you know, but what I also see is that, you know, once one person does shine, you're a shining light, brother, and you're a leader, and I know that. But you know, I encourage other brothers in your community to reach out to you, brother,
Yes, and you.
and say, hey, you know, this isn't working for me. What am I not doing right?
Mm-hmm.
You
What
know,
well, that's what I've learned in this community of healers I've been working with. And you are, you know, one of my heart brothers in this, and I'm really glad, is like you're saying, actually all of us together are smarter than any one of us could ever be. And all of us have different experiences. And so what may be, you know, my truth and what has been my path, you know, really resonates with some people, but other people just don't get it. But they can get it from like where you're coming from, you know, little slightly different place, you know. And so even though we're trying to like speak about these experiences that are like ecstatic healing, that are really hard to like put your mind around, you know, our unique medicine and our unique life path, as you know, gives us certain unique medicine to share with our community. And so I really feel like, you know, it's really beautiful that way. If we can all, that's my experience with this, is when we, you know, from coming from medical astrology, we're all angels because we all have astrological angles. And if we're in balance with our angles, then we embody that aspect. But when we're not in balance with our, you know, our true self, our heart mission, and our mind and thoughts and actions, if they're not all in consonance, it's more like we're, you know, kind of like devils, right? We're sowing discord for ourselves and for other people and the world. And so when we can get into our balance and our self-love and be in that, that's why it's so important that you do take care of yourself, you know, that you do take care of your every part of yourself, you know, because then you end up bringing nothing but benefit to the world, you know, and you're just having fun.
either you're creating your harmony, your heaven, or your hell, right?
Right, right.
You create your own
And we
heaven,
can
or
be
you
in
create,
between,
yes.
and we go back and forth for contrast. We have to go back and forth in between to understand the balance, to understand what we don't want, and to appreciate what we do care about. And I'm a student of the Tao, and the Tao always says, you know, the Tao seeks the lowly, the Tao seeks the humble, the high is in the low, you know. And when you're far, and some of the Tibetans talk about, like, when you're feeling terrible or when you're feeling great, watch out, because you're going down. And if you're feeling terrible, don't worry, because you're going up.
Wonderful. See, and you're practicing the Tao. Like, I mean, I have definitely done some practice into the Tao, but I mean, what you can find these messages in the Hindu religion, in the Buddhist religion, eh, in the Christian religion, in the Golden Rule, you know, and to love your brother like you love yourself. Like, I mean, these rules are universal. They're not one religion or another religion. They're for the whole universe and the whole world to realize. I really like the Kabbalah. I like the
Yes, me too.
Kabbalah. I love the Kabbalah,
Mhm.
and I really like um, the natural laws, the Hermetic principles. I love
Me
the
too.
Hermetic principles, and I love the Kabbalah. These are two things that I've, you know, come to rest in. Although I've looked at, you know, lots of different religions, and it's whatever you feel that fits in your life that helps you to understand your world, to get a vision of your world that helps you to realize that you are love and that you have loving power to create a loving existence for yourself. a healthy, loving existence for yourself. You
Yeah,
have that power. You have
that,
that choice, but you got to choose it and work toward it.
it's your natural state. It's actually your natural state. And we have to work now because we've kind of gone away, but this is really what it means to be human, to be in integrity, to be accountable, to be embodied, to be healthy, to be strong of mind and of body, and to put forth good things in the world, um, or just to create. We're creators, and we've been sold this idea that we're consumers and that we're separated. And like you said, we are love. The first organ that forms is your heart, you know, and your heart is this electromagnetic field that encapsulates all of your other organs and directs all of them and extends far beyond your body. It's a huge electromagnetic field. This is part of the new science of the energy medicine, of like the whole invisible bandwidth is of the spectrum of, electromagnetism is this huge thing, and the visible is this narrow bandwidth. And so there's all this stuff going on in the universe around us, and I view it as like this consciousness aspect. So when we can harmonize this consciousness and attune this mind and vehicle, then it's like being in an instrument of, an orchestra of creation. So, and not only you resonate and sing, but yeah, everything around you. But it's
And I
beautiful.
think as you talk about electromagnetism, I think I want to say, and see that how that electromagnetism fits into our world, in that, there's electrics from the sun and magnetism from the earth. Like the earth is a magnet, it has poles, and the electricity is the light of our sun. So see how that is in reality, and see how there's electromagnetism within us. There's positive and negative. The pH scale is within us. There's acid and base, and everything within us is acid and base, and a balance of the two. And when we're in the middle in harmony, when we're close to 7.3, almost in the middle, just a little bit more to the alkaline side, this is science. This is science, and this, you can see this with the Dr. Sebi. You can see this with Dr. Morris. You can see this with uh, the first
Breathwork.
the first book that I read. You look at this with Hilton Hotima, Professor Hilton Hotima. You got to look at the work of Brian Clement. You got to look at Dr. Arnold Ehret, and you got to see that these things have been going back to Socrates, to Greek times. These are 3,000 years old, like in written word, in modern day written word. But these things are timeless. They've always been. Nothing's changed. Nothing's new under the sun. Health has always been here. Wealth has always been here. This is how it's always been. And we can all choose whenever we want to make a change in our life and to make a change in our health. And it's a change of thought. It's a change of mind. It's a change of the yin and yang energies, the Taoist again, the dualistic parts of ourself, to bring ourselves from dual to where we have an opportunity to go right now, which is unified, singularity. It's a higher frequency. It's a love. It's a love that's different. It's a neutral. It's not a judgment. It's between both. It's not right or wrong. It's both. It's acceptance.
Right.
It's realizing both. It's not judging another. It's loving the brother as yourself.
And particularly when it's hard, right? Like when you extend your love, it's easy to love someone when it's all gushy and good vibes. What about your loved one who's going through a real hard time, and you got to be with them every day, and it's trying, but you still got to show up and bring that love. What else are you going to do? You're going to be kicking yourself if you don't, there's these ways in which we can try to elude and escape, this natural thing about us, but being made of love requires a certain responsibility. And it's well worth the effort.
You got to
all good things are.
got to commit to it. You got to make a full commitment to it. It's not going to happen just by, no.
No.
Heal yourself completely. You have to really, really commit. Brother, tell me what's warm on your heart. What are you really working on? What are you wanting? What are you sharing? What do you want to share? What do you want people to know about you? What do you want people to know about what you're doing this year?
Well, thank you for that opportunity, brother. Yeah, I'm just, I'm really enthused to like I said earlier, do everything I can to heal people and the planet this year. Uh, your your community may not know I'm a permaculturalist as well. So that's one of the things that fuels my heart passion is healing the earth and working with plants and making herbal medicines. And, we sell superfood juices and superfood juice cleanses and our tinctures and stuff. And those are some of the tools I have, to offer my community. We've been doing consultations and coaching. So those things all feel really good to me in terms of like direct action and doing what I can for my, fellow human beings and the land. Going to be continuing to host classes to that end. Like if people want to learn about how to grow a, edible food forest with medicinal herbs, in your suburban lot, so you can provide for yourself, and have really fresh, high vibe food, or if you want to learn to make ferments at home to repopulate your gut microbiome, because most of your neurotransmitters, all of your neurotransmitters are made in your gut, or if you want to get on a superfood juice cleanse, group with me and, cleanse out all your lymph and, get on that alkaline side and, nourish your cells and purge parasites and all that. I got a great, group cleanses going on all year long. Let's see. Yeah, just really as much focus in education and stuff. I like to empower people with as many free tools as possible, just like, these sharings, wellness tools of like encouraging people to meditate, to get out and ground, to be outside in nature, to, get the sun on your skin and in your eyes, to imbibe some plant foods. Any little bit is something that I always say is like, it's about adding, even if you just add some superfood juice, or even if you just add some, grounding on the weekend or fast once a week, like if you can do that consistently, you're going to get benefit. You're going to get
practice, brother. That's a good one. That's a big one. We have to practice it. Like it's over time. It's doing these natural things over time. And then, working through the thoughts that come up and letting go of some of the things that maybe we used to think and, allowing some new potential ideas to come in and try them on. It's okay. Like try that on for a while and see the result of that new idea in your life. A little bit of trial and error this
year. Yeah. And that's a good note. And on a personal note, that would, in terms of intentions for this new year, I'd like to create greater flexibility of mind and greater caring heart, and to grow in this, breatharian practice that seems to be blossoming. Just to say that out loud, because word, sound, power, create.
And let me share that I'm working on something on Sundays, natural health Sundays.
Awesome.
Kind of a mind, body, soul Sundays. It's a little bit of exercise and some breath work, a little bit of movement and breath work, and a little bit of guided meditation, and a little bit of talk time about nutrition. So that's what I'm doing on Sundays. That's something that's really warm on my heart. And I've got a 6-week new health and fitness program that's coming up. I want to start in the next couple of weeks. People that want to get started for the new year, it's a new year. It's time to get fit. You want to make a change in your life. I got a 6-week special startup program that I'm doing right now. So if people want to talk about that, I would love to speak to anybody about that. And I've got my free 10-day process on my website. Please get on my website and get my free 10-day process.
I got to do that. I'd like to work out with you and get, you know, I do a little calisthenics, but I'd like to explore a little more, you know, body strengthening
Brother,
practice.
I would love to have you join in. Sundays, 11 until 1. I'm doing it Sundays, 11 till 1 for free. And so it's a great way for people to experience it and see what they like and what, you know, if it's a fit for them. It's physical, it's mental, it's breath, it's everything together. And then a little bit of talk time, a little bit of community. Like, let's get together and do something together.
That's a big thing on my heart too. It's just that community, build that community vibe, you know, regardless of what, you know, any other connections, just like, let's be one people, you know, to as much of an extent we can. That's fun.
Brother, do you feel like we've kind of dialed in the new year here? Maybe we're good till the spring to chat again.
Yeah, I mean, I could always chat with you, John, all day, but not to wear out our listeners' ears. Yeah. Definitely. So thank you for the opportunity for letting me join you in your community and share my heart. And I always love being able to chat with you. And, you know, let's definitely keep the vibe going and connect up regularly. I really appreciate that.
Let's commit to quarterly then. Let's do 4 calls this year. Let's get each season and talk and reconnect.
At least. Sounds good, my friend. Well, I love you, John. Send good love to your family. Keep up your excellent, wonderful works and your excellent vibes. And I
Thank
look
you,
forward.
brother. Thank you, brother. Same to you. I'm always seeing you, and I'll continue to support.
All right, thank you. Love you. Be well.
Bye, brother. Bye.
Bye.